Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem. This is a postmortem of my Blitz game number 269. I was black, and after e4 I decided to play the French defense. So we get d4, d5, the normal moves, and now e takes d5, the exchange French. Is not the most common move here, but still it's a way to play. It's considered to lead to more or less an equal position for black, but you know, since white still has the first move, there's still some edge for white in all of these positions, but maybe not the most aggressive way to play. Looks like the engine would like to see bishop b5 here. The opening book is funny, it gives this move knight e5, which is kind of a strange move. But the statistics of it, the statistics of knight e5 are not good. It actually shows an advantage to black after that move. So anyway, my opponent played bishop g5, which is okay, but maybe leading to kind of an equal position. I play bishop e7, just blocking the pin, and bishop d3. This is a good square for this bishop, looking out on my king side. And now I play h6. I guess if we look at the opening book again, top move here is castles, also bishop g4, but h6 is not a bad move. And now we can look at the notation tab right out of the opening book. My opponent just retreats his bishop, keeps the pressure on the knight there, which actually becomes a factor in the game, so that's a good choice there. Castle, bring my knight up to defend the other knight and to allow the c-pawn to move forward. My opponent goes c3, and now I go c5. I just want to create a little bit of tension in the center there, and have some options for later in the game to open up some lines. My opponent went b3. I didn't really understand the purpose of this move, but from the later course of the game, it looks like he's preparing to play the move c4 at the right moment. I play b6 here to give some scope to my bishop. Goes knight bd2, and went a5, with the idea actually of playing bishop a6 and challenging his bishop. This is often a good idea in the French defense, but usually in the French defense you've got pawns on these light squares blocking in the bishop. In this case, this is a fine bishop, and maybe I shouldn't be in such a hurry to trade it off. But there's actually an immediate tactical problem with the move bishop to a6. So here's your tactics quiz for this video. I did play bishop a6 in the game, but if I show the move on the board, the engine will immediately give away the answer. I want to have this be a little quiz for you guys. What's wrong with this move bishop a6, and how does white punish this move? Okay, if you want some time to think about it, you should be able to find this one. It's not too deep. So I recommend pausing the video and looking at it until you can figure out how white refutes the move bishop a6. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give away the answer. When you play bishop a6, white can just exchange the bishop, which pulls the rook forward onto a square where it's loose. And this is a loose piece, and this piece is loose too. It looks like it's defended, but it's also attacked as many times as it's defended, so it's also a loose piece. So this move queen e2 is a double attack. It attacks the rook, and it attacks the bishop. And there's just no way to avoid material loss. I can't move the rook to defend the bishop, and I can't move the bishop to defend the rook. And there's no other threat I can make. So I'm just down a piece at that point. So that was why bishop a6 was a big mistake. Fortunately for me, my opponent didn't see that. And the game continued, and it was more or less even. After a few exchanges, however, my opponent gets in this move knight f5. And now, actually, my position is a bit uncomfortable. He's got pressure once again on this loose bishop here. And I need to find a place for it. If we back up a second, prior to this, it's interesting. The engine is recommending bishop to d6, knight f5, bishop to e5. Okay, it's just trying to maneuver this bishop to a better square. Or bishop to b4, pinning this knight. Okay, so when I played bishop to b7, somehow knight f5 gains in force. I guess because it's a tempo on this bishop, and I have to move it. I went to c5 with the bishop, and now Did he take? Let's see what happened. He played queen c2 here. Cancel that. He played queen c2 here. Yeah, setting up a battery, looking towards my king side. Although this is one of those batteries where you'd really prefer that the bishop and the queen were in the reverse order, because the queen here could deliver checkmate if you got rid of the knight defending that square. But with the bishop here, it's just a check. Anyway, I play rook e8, trying to challenge the dominance of the e-file and maybe giving a square for this knight to move to. Played h3. I guess he didn't want my knight coming into g4 at an inopportune time. There's almost a tactic here. You know, for example, bishop takes here, check. King takes, knight here, check. Pawn takes, and queen takes bishop. But that just loses because the bishop is defended, and in any case, that's you give up. You sack 2 pieces to get 1 piece is not usually a good trade. So so I don't think h3 was really needed, and it gave me some time to develop my knight here. So I'm breathing a little bit easier at this point. I trade off the attacking bishop on d3, and then play the move g5 to block his bishop. But g5 turns out to be a big mistake, which he does spot this time. So what I should have played, it looks like, is rook takes e1. And rook takes, and then d takes c4, and just allow. I was trying to avoid this queen trade. It says I should allow the queen trade. And then he grabs the pawn back. And if I move my king aside, I guess what I didn't like about the queen trade is now this knight was pinned against the rook, so there was no avoiding this messing up on my pawn structure. But on the other hand, I have the bishop pair. And without the queens on the board, my exposed king position maybe isn't too bad. So now the engine thinks this is slightly better for black. But I played g5, and so that was a mistake. And it shows one of the reasons why this knight on f5 is a good piece, because it's always putting pressure on these pawns. And so after g5, he can just take this pawn, which he did. Yeah, I just overlooked that the h6 pawn was hanging. And now I'm in a bit of trouble. In fact, let's see. Yeah, it appears that after king f8 was the best move, and bishop g5, and white is just winning. I play not the best move. He goes knight f5, and I just keep coming forward with the king. I'm sort of hoping to trap the bishop here or something like that. But all of this is losing. He plays rook takes e8, and I take back with the knight. And then now he plays knight e7 check. But this is where really he gives away his advantage. And I think this is an instructive moment, because whenever you have a pin like this and a discovered attack, there's all different kinds of ways to take advantage of it. And you should really search around, and when you have the time, and there was time in this game, when you should really search around at every possible move for that knight and determine the best one. And right here, knight to d6 check is clearly the best move, because it attacks the bishop on b7, which is undefended. The king has to move and just loses a piece. And after the knight takes the bishop, it's attacking both the queen and this bishop. So it's not going to get trapped there or anything, and I have to move my queen, and it trades itself for a bishop. So this is just winning for white. Instead, he played knight e7 check, and now suddenly there's still an edge for black. There's still an edge for white, but I'm back in the game. So king g7, and he grabs the pawn here. It looks like knight f5 is the best move. When he grabs the pawn, I can take the knight. And so now there's a slight edge for black here, because I've gotten a piece, and what white has is a bunch of pawns. So three pawns for a piece makes this about even, but in terms of material. But this pawn is weak. I'm going to gang up on it, and if I can activate my pieces, I feel pretty good about my chances here. So rook d8, just going after the pawn. Queen d4 check, maybe not the most accurate move. And knight f6. I'm able to defend the check and also develop the knight, so that's a good move. Rook to c1. Maybe thinking of invading on the c file here, I'm not sure. And then I can just take the d pawn. And I thought I was going to win the knight here, but he can move the queen and defend. which he does. And then I went rook to g5. Oh, rook to g5 is a computer suggestion, rather. Rook to g5. That's interesting. Okay, just ganging up on the g2 pawn. What did I do? Oh, I went queen e2. Yeah, I was still cancel that. That's d2. Queen e2. Ah, all the way here. That was d7. Sorry. Queen e2. Yeah, just invading with the queen, and I thought there would be some threats when the knight comes forward. I'm threatening to take his knight, and if it moves, my knight can come forward and attack on f2. But he plays queen g3 check, defending, and so I move my king to h7. And now it's about an even game once again. He goes knight to f3. Not the most accurate move. It looks like rook to c7 here, attacking my bishop and my pawn is a good move here. Rook c7, rook d7 to defend. Queen h4 check. Okay, so the game would continue. But he played knight f3. And that allows me to play rook d1 check. This eliminates some of his counterattacking chances. And as the pieces come off, my extra piece becomes more powerful because it's, relatively speaking, a larger share of all the force on the board. So he's forced to king h2. And now bishop takes f3. I should just continue liquidating and just go into a queen and knight versus queen game. Instead I played queen d5. I thought, well, this was good. It's defending the bishop, and the king can get over and defend the knight, so at least I'm not losing material. He goes, and I'm still have an edge, but the other move was stronger, just taking the knight off. He goes knight g5 check, and I came forward with the king. I went to h6. I didn't want to move to the g file and be subject to another discovery from the knight, so I came to the h file. Now he played queen h4 check, which is a mistake. It looks like his best move is actually just to go back with the knight. Queen h4 check. It's a dangerous move because he's left this g-pawn undefended, so there's a mate of threat. Of course, I can't checkmate him. I'm in check, so I have to move my king first. It says knight h5 is the winning move here. Oh, king g6 is also winning. Okay, I play king g6. And now he went queen g3. His best move, let's see, after queen g3, I just take the knight and he resigned. So if he wanted to play on knight f3 here, new variation, and then queen to d6 check here, king back to g1, and bishop takes f3. Okay, coming back to this idea of just trading off that knight and just playing with queen and knight versus queen, and pawns are mostly stopped. He just really has this one outside pawn on the h file that I have to be careful of, but I'm in a good position to stop it, and so I should go on to win that. Anyway, in this position he played queen to g3, and that leaves his knight underprotected, so I was just able to take it, and he resigned at this point. So anyway, interesting game, I thought. I certainly was lost at a couple of points in that game, but managed to hang on and win. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I will see you again soon. Bye.